Hi friends, it's Megan. It's Wednesday devotionals, and before we begin, I want to offer a word of thanks. There have been a number of you oftentimes throughout this whole new adventure of video devotionals that have offered your appreciation, have offered your thanks, have offered your feedback. I want to say thank you to you. I so appreciate your comments. I appreciate your stories. I appreciate your thoughts. I really just appreciate you. I like hearing from you, and I like knowing that the things on my heart are often the things on your heart, or maybe even better, something you hadn't thought about. So I gave you something else to wonder, which, if you know me, I like having something new to think about, something new to wonder. I always say, if I've learned something that day, the day is not wasted. So I hope that as I continue, as we journey together, that this is something you will learn from, help to commiserate with, or celebrate with, or something with. But I appreciate you, so thank you very much. And this week, I want to talk about legacy. Let's talk about legacy for a minute. Now, I will define that we'll talk more about that. But first, I want to read you the passage for this week. It is Isaiah, let me make sure I get this right. Isaiah 58, 9 through 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying a new view for the camera. I want to see what the difference is. If you don't like it, say something. It's okay. If you do like it, please say something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure, but we're going to try something new a little bit. So this is Isaiah 58, 9 through 12. So, when you pray, I will answer you. When you call to me, I will respond. If you put an end to oppression, to every gesture of contempt, and to every evil word, if you give food to the hungry and satisfy those who are in need, then the darkness around you will turn to the brightness of noon. And I will always guide you and satisfy you with good things. I will keep you strong and well. You will be like a garden that has plenty of water, like a spring of water that never goes dry. Your people will rebuild what has long been in ruins, building again on the old foundations. You will be known as the people who rebuild the walls, who restore the ruined houses. Isaiah 58, 9 through 12. So, legacy. In light of this, and this, by the way, was the Good News translation. I find different translations interesting. So if you find something interesting in your translation, I'd love to hear it. Rebuilding. Using old foundations to rebuild new, to rebuild better, to build again. Let's talk legacy. We all have one. Now, you might be thinking, well, I haven't died yet, so I don't have a legacy. Nope, you're wrong. You do have a legacy. How you have left something behind, whether you have left a season behind, a place behind, a relationship behind, when you've changed from one life to another, you have chosen to be better, or sometimes, unfortunately, you've chosen to be worse. You leave a legacy. You leave something behind for the people to follow. Now, we could tell stories. I'm sure you have many, where you could tell a story of a positive situation where someone impacted you positively and shaped your choices for a career or for an opportunity. I could list a number of them. Three that come to mind quickly are a camp counselor when I was a senior in high school. I had just graduated and was going through a real challenge trying to figure out what was next, the typical senior stuff from high school to college. And one of the counselors, who I'd known for a few years, was very uplifting and encouraging, but not in an effusive way of saying, I know you're going to be amazing. I know you're going to do good things. He was quiet and he was confident. And I appreciated that. And all too quickly, I found out a few years later, he passed away from cancer. But I have a memory of his encouragement. Many of you have heard me talk about my high school choir teacher, who made a major impact on not just my singing life, but me as a person and how I treat other people. And then there was a good pastor friend of ours in Washington before we moved, who made a major impact on me and on my family. He was just simply present and kind and loving in a time where it was hard to see some of those things. So those are three that come to mind very quickly. And I want to make sure you understand that I would guess 2 out of those 3 people weren't necessarily trying to leave a legacy or make an impact on me. What they were trying to do is show Jesus. Now, I could easily have said show love. I could easily have said show grace. I could have said kindness. But I want you to understand one thing specifically. I believe, were not necessarily trying to make a major impact. They were trying to show Jesus to a place and a time that maybe they realized needed it, maybe they didn't think about it, but they did it. They made an impact. Whether they chose to do that the way they did, whether they set out to do that, I don't know. I probably won't ever know. However, it made an impact on me. And it impacted me in a way that there are times when I think, oh, that's why that happened. So that I can in turn share this moment with somebody else. Now, I'll be honest, there are times when I don't show Jesus well. When I get angry, or when I ignore someone who I know probably needs a little bit of extra attention, who might need a little bit of extra grace instead of my frustration. Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. And I know that you have times like that too. And sometimes we think of those times first. I want to encourage you to think of when your life was impacted for the positive. Because I know that we all have times where we're dead set and ready to just burn it all down. Make it combustible so that it blows up and everybody knows what happened. But then there are times where we peacefully walk away, where we peacefully and quietly change for the better. Now, leaving a legacy doesn't mean you have to die. I hope you've gotten to that point through this at this point. When you leave a situation, when you leave a relationship, when you leave anything, you leave part of your legacy. What are people going to see? What are people going to hear? I would encourage you to pay attention, because I know it's something that I have to do. Pay attention to how you interact, how you show Jesus. What happens when others aren't looking? One of our kids' teachers often had a phrase that she loved. Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody is looking. We use that phrase a lot. Integrity, love, grace, Jesus. What is your legacy that you're leaving? What rebuilding are you helping? Are you helping? You're going to have days where you don't. I know that. So do I. I have days where I don't help at all. I have days where, let's be honest, I do everything but help. And sometimes it's destructive more than anything. Those are hard days. And unfortunately, those are the days that stick with me more often. But what are you leaving? How will people remember you when you walk away? I would encourage you to show them Jesus. Maybe not the Jesus who overturned the tables in the temple and chased the money changers out of there. Maybe the Jesus who says, I love you. I see you. I see you for who you are and where you are. And I love you. Dear friends, as you go about your week this week, I would encourage you to pray for the legacy that you're leaving. And also, on a completely unrelated note, pray for the families of the teachers who are distance learning or not distance learning and worried about what's happening and what's going on and lacking support. Pray for them. I know I have families and people in my family who are supporting teachers. Pray for them. It's hard for them too. Dear friends, you are a beloved child of God, worthy of love and worthy of Jesus' love. Have a good week.